This is a journey of sober evenings, sleepless nights. I used to engage in drunk evenings to even my grieving soul. In order to feel whole, I used to smoke until my lungs knows no clean air. I used to wish to be here in that creative moment where I could create space and own it over and over, stamping a 4-leaf clover to my chest before I lay down to rest. And before I close my eyes, I clone a rhyme. Then control the mind with controlling time. I control time. I'm not bound by minutes. Our hours are too precious to be diminished. Concerned with acceptance in a world where I'm spectating among people caught in a web of deception, expecting to argue war and peace. The God in me, but I only debate my equals. All others I teach. The John Henry Clark in me, part of me, the master teacher, that spark in me, balanced by the art in me, the artistry has transitioned over 60 days. The spirits, the local herbs, replaced by lyrics and vocals. At times lyrics can choke you when you realize this is real life. And in real life, you can't run from the progress. You can't run from the process. For the godless are watching, waiting for the prophets to fall. Well, autumn comes up short today. Welcome to the journey. It was written. Pen pages pretending friends can't fall in love. Friends can't feel, friends can't fall. Friends can't lose summers to autumn leaves and leave each other gasping for air, asking questions only mirrors can answer. Imagine chasing a high you've never felt. Imagine running for a sunshine after a lifetime of evenings that never seem to end. It's never seen dawn. It's never seen weekends. It's Thursday night every hour. Its power lies in the ability to imagine. Its power lies through its face. It's faced with choosing pseudo-love or losing what's left of its heart. It's hard to imagine. It's too far out of caption. For its action has led it to believe it can no longer believe itself. It bleeds in open corners alone. It's known a pain such as this far too well. It's too far to tell it to start from the onset. It's pretending so well that love feels like it's on set, and that movie never ends. Just imagine reaching for a familiar touch never felt before. And before you lose it, you choose to let it die inside of you. Like unborn babies with maybe cries that maybe die that haunts the mind and drives it crazy. Because baby, it lied to itself, and that baby was never there, for it was merely a flashback to its own conception. And time has become its greatest weapon against itself, and itself has become the greatest deception. And one day it awakens, shaken from constant nightmares and premonitions of being taken. It's taken a lifetime to find the Judas that lies within. And one day the Messiah will be reborn in the pit of his soul, and his war will one day end in cherry blossoms and cherry wine. And joy will come in the rising, for that morning tide, it will find peace within itself. Just imagine, it was written. August. Chapter 39. The beginning of an era of me first. I'm winning in the center of working on me, trying to make me work. I've rehearsed my dance to the grave, spending my waking days trying to save the world, and it only caused me hurt. I woke from a sleepless night twice in the same week. By the weekend I was sleeping with no promise of awakening, and I was content with missing Sundays. I one day watched my body slowly die, and I closed my eyes peaceful, at peace with the evils. I could sleep to death and wake in the morning, touring the afterlife on a home visit, with one foot out on a slow pivot and one foot in rhythm. Now living is a priority, and giving is on the back burner. I'm a fast learner of self, and without the elements became day one. A Another grand rising of the sun, the process of progress, painfully obvious. The ocean of emotions flood each chamber. The past pain rained down. I captured the words in sleepless evenings, attempting to even the racing thoughts, traveling dark highways on foot, roller coasters unguarded off track, sirens and lights for practice, anxiety as a concubine, the balancing of sober worlds. I'm over the understanding of broken souls, exhausted from trying to make the broken whole. In the open holes, the whole lost souls. And I can no longer drown in its spirits, the smoke of ghosts surrounding. All that's left is grounding, balancing the best time, summer, spirit of August. Cast with a half-friendly ghost, black and taking half notes in smooth cadence. He seemed half smooth to ladies, and at times he seemed half cruel to ladies. But she was just the latest to misunderstand. It was a quiet Thursday evening, dreaming of light-skinned women with curves that could awaken half-forsaken poets with words he would only imagine. On Friday afternoons, overlooking muddy waters, it was half cold that day, and the sun would shine half bright. By the sleepless night, half lovers would kiss for the many first times. She laughed with the innocence of Virgin Marys, and he stood as King Solomon. And the evening would end abruptly with one close neighbor, a cup of tea, and one too many shots of love. Cast with a half-friendly ghost, black and taking half notes in smooth cadence. He seemed half smooth to ladies, and at times he seemed half cruel to ladies. But she was just the latest to misunderstand. She wore velour on soft Saturdays, and that way when he touched her, she felt his excitement as he enticed him. Her eyes were as crescent moons, his sides grew towards midnights. He was ready for the many dawns, wasted mornings and rippled lakes. He takes her zipper and slowly detours to a promised land, where he promised to be gentle and slowly embrace her innocence, her inner sense. And the evening would end abruptly with one close neighbor, a cup of tea, and one too many shots of love. Cast with a half-friendly ghost, black and taking half notes in smooth cadence. He seemed half smooth to ladies, and at times he seemed half cruel to ladies. But she was just the latest to misunderstand. Her pretense would force false paths, and before their connection connected through the portals of many first times, he would fly away as ghosts do. And most knew he handled her heart the way he was supposed to, for she would never know who she was getting close to. The ghost of 202. I, Edgar Allan Poe, swear that every day until the darkness appears for 30 days, and on the 30th dust will consume our union. With black lipstick, black candles, and black lights, I dream of drunken nights with pens that dipped in the blood of deceased poets. The dark fantasies are written in present tense. We write love ballads we can die to. We into each other's world. I drive through your life portal with such force, you'll remember me in the afterlife. When you touch yourself, I wanna feel you close doors with me in the way. I want you to fall in love with me in the day, and in a way, I wanna drown in your ocean. And every time you close your eyes, you'll scream my name in horror and pleasure, and both. For Edgar Allan Poe is here. I wanna create sinister grins as you asphyxiate me within your walls, staring at tombstones in broad daylight. As my flesh rises into your fingernails, I'll smile in pain. I'll take pleasure in the swelling of your wound. I'll drive you to a place and park your body on a designated tomb, and let you feel how close you were to expiring, to remind you I'm in control of you. I'll write my name inside of you, Edgar Allan Poe. Your last breathing heavy words served as testament to your fire. I'll devour your forbidden, leaving you wishing you could be forgiven for succumbing to your intuition over and over again. Edgar Allan Poe again, reminding you that it's time to go again. I want you to feel intense pain and ask for more, beg you to never conclude, and I never plan to. I wanna look you in the eyes and remind you that I'm a man who knows how to leave memoirs of how we got here. As a roadmap to intense climax, a high you'll chase multiple times in the darkest of nights to the gloomiest of dawns, where black eyeliner runs down your cheek to awaken the memory of me. Parts of me plugging into your solar power, and these lips of ours seal our fates until another evening when I once again pierce your soul. Sincerely yours, Edgar Allan Poe. Resistance. Whereas, according to the master teacher's teaching, we all have that inner Judas, that inner being, that enslaved traitor, that ingrained hatred of self, a trained descending voice. Depending on how strong you feed it will dictate how long you'll be it. Your inner messiah will free it, be it destroying inner darkness or sparking that inner fire. Both exist in your world, but sometimes the evils are needed when peace is no longer an option. I refuse to be caged by culture or the color of carbon. I'm armed with atomic harmony, I sow karmic energy, and I feed off God's umbilical cord. She lives within, and he's what's different in me. The resistance is fusion, the illusion of a black hole, the sequence of all colors that meet in the soul of black folk, 10 toes that grip the ground. In any environment, the sonic sound may violate the rules, but I've been used to not following the rules. The cornerstones inscribed in my lower extremities are weapons formed against my enemies unapologetically. Opposed to protest is a peaceful mean of I have a dreams and any means being buried in the greens, redirected in me. In the imperfect person lies the resurgence of the serpent, instilled in the third. Reality is reality in the true eyes of kings and queens. With please and thank you can never take you through a revolution, so I'll bleed and take it for the fighters of a sacred nature. Of the beholder, I've gotten older, and the notion of a chosen few, a talented 10, willing to burn it down one page at a time, a spoken open defeated complexity, they're choking on the words, creating a hurt to the system, we're created in sticks and stones, where there once was a Judas, a Messiah is overtaking the throne, and like the first day of Kemet, this is the only place that feels like home. Resistance. As a king, he died at his own funeral. And I've committed to the mission of resistance, to the million of mistresses, and mastering the absence of friendship and forgiveness of myself, but submission of self-acceptance. As a result, I'm alone, in preparation for the rebirth to the throne, where home is, and all that I know is. Where home is, and all that I know is. The other day I took a tour down memory lane, where the ghosts are at war with demons, and the absence of queendom has erased legacies, and the dreams are void of sunlight, where boys record mixtapes from small radios with big voices, and the silence rang loud with a big voice. And his choice to fight was punished with a summation of words from adults who didn't understand his language. So he learned to create with words. He learned to serve nightmares at night where he was a slave to the mind. He minded his business until his wishes overcame him, and he was no longer a boy, somewhere between the realm of manhood. He was searching for himself. As a king, he died at his own funeral. And I've committed to the mission of resistance, to the million of mistresses, and mastering the absence of friendship and forgiveness of myself, but submission of self-acceptance. As a result, I'm alone, in preparation for the rebirth to the throne, where home is, and all that I know is. Where home is, and all that I know is. I examined the famine flames I had for love, and learned how to maintain without love. For by the time I seen love, I didn't know how to be in love. So I tried to be love with a loveless vessel. So I feared what it meant to love myself. I tried to conquer mine with compromise, and compromise my soul. I tried to conquer mine with concubines, to make all those broken pieces whole. Whole time I was falling in a deeper hole, sleeping with the smoke of green leaves and brown liquor, until I got sick and it made all the difference. The world is complex, but the world's just simple. Sucking on the nipples of Mother Nature to conquer the hatred within myself. Struggling to eradicate the hatred in my heart. It's to start the feeling, to start the healing. I'm dealing. As a king, he died at his own funeral. Now committed to the mission of resistance, to the million of mistresses, and mastering the absence of friendship, and forgiveness of myself, for submission of self-acceptance. As a result, I'm alone, in preparation for the rebirth to the throne, where home is, and all that I know is. Where home is, and all that I know is. One day I wedded my best friend, and the best end was acceptance. For a short time later we became best friends. A sign of greatness was accepting my deception to her, and being responsible for my part of her pain. The transference of energy, the inner pain, the inner stains of my past I couldn't get past. I'm humbly sorry for presenting it to your presence, and I thank you for still being my best friend. Round 1. I want to freestyle lullabies that create masterful orgasms you can masturbate to on yesterdays and remember me in your dreams. I want to be the images you imagine when your imagination knows no bounds. I want to make you feel in places you've only found when we intertwine our now. I want now to be perfect. I want to challenge the church with the church girl with the serpent on the front of her third eye. I want to give you a bird's eye view to an intentional devouring of fruit. I want us to try something new. I want to sing happy birthdays on belated Thursdays. I want to be the perfect ending to a work day. I want to work overtime, swinging your body into overdrive. And over time you'll start to know me. Over time you'll think of me, thinking of you, touching you remotely. On days when you're lonely, on quiet nights when you're in the shower. I want the mist to remind you of each soft kiss. I want that water to drip, and we can think of reasons for that. We could drink from each other's cup and experience seasons of heavy breathing and fall into the autumn bliss and summer evening, falling asleep in constant dreaming, only to wake to silent alarms. The feeling of me reminding you that we're not done yet. Round 2. She introduced me to platinum nights and backwood leaves. She would leave for fallen leaves and autumn breeze, 808 and heartbreak. And my heart may travel to half crazy Sundays for first kisses. Her lips were blissful, amidst a level of adoration reserved for distant lovers. Inamorata. Soul ties, and where my soul lies is an extreme friendship, ending with the pouring of souls whole time. There was no complete definition to this wishful thinking, sinking in the abyss of a love unseen, uncharted territories where the unknown goes to remain lost. The cost of opening that piece of you, the peace in you, a piece of you resists me and you for the foreseeable future. On a future, who knows what I see in you or what you'll see in me. For now, let's enjoy now. Not what we think it could be, which could mean we sacrifice the good life for simply being there for each other, showing care for each other, holding down the other's back, even at a time when the other can't show you back. Until an undated time, the creative mind has fathered a place we can gather, even when we're far apart. The darkest hearts create ambient light through amethyst nights, where the stars are a part of our journey. Let's lose the need to worry, because of what we've been through individually. A continuous circle of love-hate relationships, from sacred gifts to you make me sick. I contemplated giving in, then you made me think again. I started to sink within your sunken, drunken place where 8 a.m.s almost killed me. And I love yous became daggers, and orgasms were introductions to plates of food, which placed me in the mood for round 2s. I'm still not sure how I found you, or maybe you found me. We found us under mountain peaks. I found the secret of fountains in you. I became saturated in your world, blissfully submerging, at the moment purging from a certain hurting from a different person than I am today. The man that stands before you that used to adore you until you tore through the portal of love I have reserved for you was exactly who I am today. And where I stand today, you became the former and then marauder. I search past generations just to find you. Need I remind you? We follow cycles for survival. They even rewrote the Bible just to spite you. Painted Jesus white, blonde hair, blue eyes too. They even lied to the babies in junior high school. The revival of the mind is when they try to fight you. You'll either serve life or you'll die too. And this is the measure grieving mothers cry to. I tried to discover the connection between where we've been and why we're lost. What's the cost of freedom and are we truly free? Our ancestors lost their language and was beaten into submission. Taught religion as a means of social conditioning. To be content in your suffering. Now we're suffering and ushering our children to hell on earth. To protect the hell that awaits to those with no faith. Then we base our convictions on inflicting the oppression to everyone who doesn't follow or listen. They're beaten into submission. I search past generations just to find you. Need I remind you? We follow cycles for survival. They even rewrote the Bible just to spite you. Painted Jesus white, blonde hair, blue eyes too. They even lied to the babies in junior high school. The revival of the mind is when they try to fight you. You'll either serve life or you'll die too. And this is the measure grieving mothers cry to. We've gotten used to a youthful praise until they felt rejected. Maybe they're gay or simply late before matrimony, but you've never taught them love. You teach them God was a mysterious father who gave his only begotten son and murdered their mother, creating the Holy Ghost to pretend them eternal. Your eternal soul is on the line. Your eternal goal is a generational curse. For generations the church has created generations of hurt. And we blame the abused for God being misused. From the pulpit to the pews, their blood is on you. I search past generations just to find you. Need I remind you? We follow cycles for survival. They even rewrote the Bible just to spite you. Painted Jesus white, blonde hair, blue eyes too. They even lied to the babies in junior high school. The revival of the mind is when they try to fight you. You'll either serve life or you'll die too. And this is the measure grieving mothers cry to. It's time to listen. For on your eternal wish list is forgiveness for your transgressions of oppression and hopes to see the Most High. When most die, they hope to go to heaven, but create hell on earth for 6 days, then attempt to preach on the 7th, hoping this praise will save them. Meanwhile, the babies are caved in, and we keep preaching while the perils are teaching them, leaving them in a cell block seat or not even breathing air. It's clear, we fell in them. Just listen. They say hurt people. This is a piece of the evils of the cycles. They were born out of rush, not out of love. Together they weather the weather, out of touch and not in love. So now they hate each other because the touch was never enough. Because they blame each other, the next will always suffer the pain of their past. In the past, she experienced the pain that drained her emotions until she felt lifeless. So when the wrong man comes, seeming righteous, her tight dress and triple-eyed breast can gain her the world at the expense of her soul, searching for the person to make her whole. But the whole world could never replace what she lost, and without protection, she would eventually offer herself. Without protection, he approached with the right erection that seemed to fill a void she'd been spending her whole life trying to avoid. And the good guys who look like her will pay the price of her past, of her pain. They were born out of rush, not out of love. Together they weather the weather, out of touch and not in love. So now they hate each other because the touch was never enough. Because they blame each other, the next will always suffer the pain of their past. In the past, he learned nice guys finish last, and he wanted so bad to not be like his dad. A mystery man with no history of being a man, so he never learned how to be a man, how to love. So when love presented itself, she became strange fruit that nourished his desire to abuse, because that's what he was used to. From the age of Blue's Clues to the days he made all the ladies sing the blues to. Each painful, shameful day within. Every woman who favors his complexion, savors his erections, were hurt as a result of his past, of his pain. They were born out of rush, not out of love. Together they weather the weather, out of touch and not in love. So now they hate each other because the touch was never enough. Because they blame each other, the next will always suffer the pain of their past. So now they search for realness and fulfillment in others. They've been taught to devalue our sisters and brothers and lie undercover with undercover lovers disguised as superior. And what looks inferior favors the interior. Inside of themselves is what's lacking. The blackness of love is blinding. We're rewinding our ancestors' torment, and we forfeit each other and force it with the very entity that created the torment, and rejects the views of the darker hue. The blood in your veins has whiffs of pain. Each day it sharpens you. That carbon pool that creates that part of you that represents the God in you. And everything that's possible is made possible through love. Love of self, love of people, love of regal tints, love of black kings, love of black queens, love of the black child. Love for the fight. To love. In my defining moments, will I be a shining star? Will the sun set? At my day's end, will I yearn for tomorrow? Or will I feel I lived enough for today? My dying wish is to dance with Beyonce. Seriously, I want to dance with serious beat to a serious beat. Mysteriously, I want to prance the moon and see high noons with Jupiter views. And before I leave this earth, I want to leave this earth for what it's worth. Before I leave this earth, I want to lead this earth. The loose seeds of the earth, who sees the earth with wide lenses, who pretend the world's imperfect until certain words define all that is good. It was written. It was Thursday morning Thanksgiving, when family is 65 miles south, and your desire to drive south is overshadowed by a familiar pain of past years. The last tears of November, pressed in the hearts of lost lovers. I remember sitting in foreign living rooms and told this is home. The day I lost my identity, the day I made enemies with distant strangers, occupying pages of life they've never inked, but they think this is their story. My dying wish is to dance with Beyonce. Seriously, I want to dance with serious beat to a serious beat. Mysteriously, I want to prance the moon and see high noons with Jupiter views. And before I leave this earth, I want to leave this earth for what it's worth. Before I leave this earth, I want to lead this earth. It took years to find a voice amidst a lifetime of silence, a timeline of violence, and in my eye line with a child mind, I swore never again to watch from the sideline. I swore to champion the cause for so many babies lost. We lost a 14-year-old the other night, and his best friend cried, we're losing. We're choosing unseen futures where the youth are drowning in shallow lakes accustomed to darkness, because that's what shadows make. Running through life with closed eyes and closed minds, waiting for someone to save them, but the ones who made them are unable to. The hero inside wears no cape, hasn't revealed itself in me. I've been concealing what's in me, and if martyrdom is what's required, then the sacrifice is up to me, and I walk through the fire to save them. My dying wish is to dance with Beyonce. Seriously, I want to dance with serious beat to a serious beat. Mysteriously, I want to prance the moon and see high noons with Jupiter views. And before I leave this earth, I want to leave this earth for what it's worth. Before I leave this earth, I want to lead this earth. The wish of Talon, who prayed on a miracle, and after 17 months she was laid to rest. I was 17 once, a story that will never be told, because she was only 12 years old when her soul ascended. But before her chapter ended, she danced with Beyonce. Now she dances with the stars and looks over us. My dying wish is to end her tears before my end is here. My dying wish is to dance with Beyonce. Seriously, I want to dance with serious beat to a serious beat. Mysteriously, I want to prance the moon and see high noons with Jupiter views. And before I leave this earth, I want to leave this earth. For what it's worth, before I leave this earth, I want to leave this earth.